Glad you joined us here, team. Autogefühl with Thomas and Jonas behind the camera today with the all-new Toyota Yaris. Exterior tour and interior of this all-new generation. As you know, an Autogefühl in full HD, full screen and full length. Let's go! A lot of cars are going more and more aggressive throughout the generations, or even sportier. I mean, yeah, maybe it's a little bit sportier than before, but we can see that also in this new generation they kept a rather friendly style. However, wide opening here for the front grille, here also with high gloss black accentuations in this trim, and new headlamps, but they kept really the base character of this vehicle. So what do you think? Do you like the new design? The headlamps will always feature some kind of LED extent. It depends on how much on the trim level of the headlamp. So whereas new generations of those new cars get bigger and bigger and bigger, Toyota decided here to keep it small, to make it even a little bit smaller. So still below this 4 meters threshold like it was before, or then way less than 160 inches. So they didn't want to make it any bigger. I think it's also a good decision because, you know, people still need small cars, not only bigger and bigger and bigger cars. Here, with those big 17-inch wheels, those ones are optional. Of course, it starts with smaller ones. And again, a rather round design, not too many dramatic design lines here at the side. But then this area is really interesting, you know, is rather round curve in here, like stamped in, and then again it creates some kind of stronger shoulders or wheel arches right there. This one here also in a contrasting roof color. Again, not a super revolution if you compare it to the predecessor, but overall they again kept this rather likable roundish design. However, it gets a little bit, you know, more extravagant here right at the rear at the tail lamps. And if we dig into the details, this one here is actually half a centimeter shorter in exterior length than before, but 5 centimeters longer in wheelbase. That will have an effect on the interior. At the same time, it's about 4 centimeters flatter than the predecessor. And what's also interesting, this one here mainly built for Europe. In Japan, it will feature the very same platform, but will be a little bit narrower to fit the little bit more narrow streets in Japan. Interesting note that they built the same platform car, but then with, you know, little variation. And indeed, those tail lamps, they form some kind of wing. It's very interesting. So this is the most spectacular side of the all-new Yaris. And if we also think about what's underneath, this is here built on the TNGA platform. But then there are like, you know, sub-platforms for this global platform, for the smaller, mid-size and also for the bigger vehicles. And this is the first one here on this small sub-platform of this global architecture. So this has nothing to do with the recent US Toyota Yaris, which is on the Mazda 2 base. We presented that to you in Los Angeles Motor Show. This one then, the real all-new generation, it's an all-new car, also platform-wise. So, and you can see here, this is again the most modern shape of the car. You can see you do lose some trunk space if you have this dramatic design on the exterior. Yeah, but then you have something more to show at least. As engines, you'll get a 1-liter naturally aspirated petrol engine, a 1.5 NA engine, so also naturally aspirated petrol engine, and the main engine will be the new, this one here, the 1.5 hybrid, so 1.5 liter of displacement, naturally aspirated petrol engine, mated to this Toyota hybrid system, internal hybrid. You cannot recharge it from the outside, but you always have this battery as a buffer to have some electric situations in the city. And so far with our other Toyota tests, that worked actually quite well. Even for Toyota Camry, we had like 5 liters or 1 kilometers consumption, which is pretty decent and of course can be lower for a vehicle in a size like this. And what's particularly interesting, whereas the other hybrid engines are based on 4-cylinder engines, here for the Yaris or Yaris we say for example in Germany, all 3-cylinder engines, no matter if you go hybrid or not. First look here at the interior. First of all, door closing sound. Yeah, why not? It's not too bad. And then inside of the doors, top part here is hard plastic. Then there's a beautiful grey fabric interior. It reminds us a little bit of like this Scandinavian furniture design. This is then, like, I'm not sure if it's just prototype or if, I mean, at some point they also want to offer a decent price, so maybe we can expect more in this case. Door pocket here, this should also fit for some bottles, yes. And then you have a new layout here with a new steering wheel that looks a little sportier. Those gauges, interesting, round, left and right, looks joyful definitely. And with a digital screen on the inside. And what you can always see right here, this one here is a real head-up display. That's new. Interesting new option for the car. And soft touch also here at the top of the dashboard. Then those are the sporty seats with fabric on the inside and leatherette on the outside, as it's supposed to be. And yeah, I mean, this is a nice sporty option with a little bit more shoulder support here in this overall sporty trim of the car. So taking a seat here, indeed those sport seats, they offer a lot of support. So unusual big seats then for a small vehicle like this. And that's pretty positive. So I guess for taller people, the sport seats might also make sense indeed. As for the comfort, steering wheel can be adjusted up and down and also towards you and back again. And yeah, looking at those new gauges is really fun. They just look fun somehow. And I can already see something of the head-up display, which looks pretty clear and crisp. That's pretty cool. Optional JBL sound system is indeed also built in here. And well, this one here has a panoramic roof. Cannot be opened, like totally open, but here you can use those shades. It's like half and half, like right here. Just use the other hand, push, and then we can go back again, and then you can also close the other half like this, so you can close it totally, and then interesting system here. You push it back again. So headroom wise, me with 1.86 or 6'1", so that does approximately work. Yeah, so still also works. And I mean, panoramic roofs like those, they shouldn't cost you too much headroom. It's different when you can open something like this. So first impression here is actually quite cozy and more comfortable than before. Cockpit overview, you can see here, new layout. Left side again with those new instruments that look that joyful. Steering wheel, right side for cruise control. Left side then to control something from the steering wheel, or for example to pick up the phone and so on. On the right side, this new infotainment system, which is kind of attached on there, but that you can reach it from here. This one here, GPS view. You can see you can zoom in and out. We're actually not in Madrid, but in Amsterdam. So map hotkey there, volume button right here. Here on the right side to scroll through the radio, for example. Phone, you can register here via Bluetooth. And set up just a brief overview of that one here. And there will also be Wi-Fi function available and so on, vehicle control. The software does not look that up to date. Then this one here is also hard pack. Top part, however, is soft touch. Still classic climate controls here in the lower part. That's actually quite good quality. Then if we go further down, there's also seat heating available. Inductive charging pad for your phone. And this one here, of course, this eCVT they use for their hybrids, so not a real CVT, but they call it eCVT. And then also will be driving modes available, or for example this EV mode where the EV driving will be still stressed. Non-adaptive cup holders in the lower parts, so yeah, that might be a problem if they're not kept tight. And then here this armrest with some more space, and yes, it's still quite solid and also soft at the top part. And here we go with a close-up of the head-up display, supposed to be 10-inch. And you can see the current speed, there will be the allowed speed and also some assistance system information. And indeed, the assistance systems have been upgraded majorly, like a side assist, and also even, at least in some markets, the ACC will be standard. What's also interesting safety system-wise, so here on the co-driver seat at the moment, and yes, we always call it co-driver seat because that's somehow, really inspired. Here, there's the airbag, and this car here from standard equipment will for first time in this segment here, this very small segment, feature a head airbag, so increasing the safety definitely. So very good idea, and also to make it standard equipment. And yay, finally, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are also available here for the Toyotas in Europe. So far, the license is only for the US. You can see here in the new Yaris or Yaris, it will also feature Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. I already connect my music to that. And it will also be introduced, by the way, in other Toyota models now when they come with an update, for example, for the CHR with the new hybrid engine, for example. So, or when the next facelifts come and so on for the new model years. So there's light at the end of the tunnel as for the connectivity, especially since, you know, the rest of the infotainment system is not so up to date. This one will be probably your solution. So as for the rear door hardly opens. You can see here that can be a problem like when installing child seats and so on. There are ISOFIX covers. You can take a look here also with the sporty design here in the rear. ISOFIX at the outside of the seats. It also has a possibility to have a third passenger in the middle. Of course, you know, somewhat limited and for adults. But again, the rear door hardly opens that much. And when I'm driving in the front, yeah, it doesn't look like that. But indeed, I can put my feet under the seat, even in the lowest position. And I mean, directly hit my knees here, but not hard, you know. So that's actually okay. I can sit here legroom-wise, exactly. Headroom-wise, my hairs are touching the ceiling. But I mean, I can still fit here. And I mean, just think about it. It's a very small car. So the package, to my belief, has been improved. There's also not a huge middle tunnel, so we can, you know, move around here quite good. But then again, yeah, this middle part is a little bit higher. So yeah, is more like for the outside seats. But again, considering the car is by no means longer, the package of the car, due to this new platform, has been improved. And you do flip the seats from here, by the way. And now we take a look at the trunk, and we can open it right here. So what do we lose or what do we gain? First of all, the dimensions look actually quite square. So there's the loading seal here, but there will also be, you know, possible to put this cover up. Then this one here is at the lowest position at the moment, but then, yeah, you can pull it out here. Okay. Like this. So then you have a rather even sill. So it depends on if you want to transport something which is higher, want to use everything, or if you want it a little bit easier to load in and out. So that's definitely an interesting approach. And what about the length then and the measurement? So this one here is 64 centimeters in length, and here it's a little bit less than a meter in width. And the height here is 38 centimeters, but again, you can, as I first showed you, gain some centimeters if you put this one here in the lowest position again. And you can also flip the seats from here because it's short enough. There we go. And to the seat as I would be driving, as rather, you know, tall passenger, that's then, let's see, here, 1 meters 35. And you know you're here with us on Autogefühl to get the most details about all the new vehicles, and that's why we also present the cutaway model to you. So what Toyota has done here, they painted actually new stuff in blue. So what they have especially done to increase the torsional stiffness. For example, here in the front you can see a full circle that goes all the way around to give you better stiffness. You can see here those are McPherson suspension in the front, McPherson struts. They are also supposed to give you better comfort than before. And what's also interesting here, bar across from left to the right, also from, you know, the suspension domes, and that's what you usually for example find in a rally car. But here, standard in the B segment vehicle. So overall 30% increase of stiffness in the body stiffness. And well, how do you feel that? Well, you feel that the car is not, you know, flexing that much. That gives you more driving fun. And also the whole driving position is moved more inward to the car. You can here again see a different color variation of those new seats. And the steering wheel, you might know it from the generation before, was more, you know, like you look down on it. Now it's more upright, also has a sporty position, and you can also pull it more towards you. That's especially good for taller drivers, definitely, and I really appreciate it. Here, another stiffness bar that goes all around from left to the right, and this is then connected also to the steering wheel, which again should give you a more direct input to what you feel and what you drive. Then, as another measurement, you can see also the blue painted parts right there. I mean, this is not blue painted in your real vehicle then, but just for demonstration purposes here. So that's done, for the longitudinal stiffness. Here you can see the new battery, and well, they used more steel for this car, so that you could think, yeah, it brings up the weight. But actually, due to this new battery, which they moved from the metal hydride battery here now to the lithium ion, that's lighter then, and so they can overall keep up the weight and even reduce it by about 20 to 30 kilograms. Then you can see here the torsion beam at the rear. This one, on the one hand, they have made everything stiffer again, but you can see here the dampers itself, themselves, they are actually a little bit softer than before. So overall, with a more stiffer chassis, but at the same time, softer suspension, you can have a sportier but yet more comfortable ride. If that's true, well, we'll find out in the driving review very soon. And now to our conclusion for today with the all-new Toyota Yaris here for the European version. Japan, a little bit narrower, and also some Asian countries. In the US, as I said, there will be the Yaris. They will also link the video below, which is similar to the Mazda 2. So very interesting with this new platform. You sit a little bit more, to this direction. So, but at the same time, the visibility is as good as before. You sit a little bit lower. The car itself is a little bit flatter without losing headroom. And although the car is a little bit shorter, a little bit longer wheelbase, you have actually more legroom on the rear than before. So that's actually good. So considering the length of the car, which is still very short, it's actually a quite good package on the inside. Exterior styling, not a revolution, quite fresher than before, but still with a rather round and likable design. Yeah, the rear is a little bit more daring, definitely. But on the inside then, also some new materials. New infotainment, if you want so. However, the software is not really up to date, but then it's great that we now have the Apple CarPlay or Android Auto connection. Then you can use your maps and, music stuff anyway and, leave the software of this infotainment system. Cool that we have a head-up display, and my personal favorite are those additional safety systems, adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, and also especially the head airbag. So safety is probably the thing they increased most, and everyone profits from that, definitely. So this is also, one of my favorite features. This new platform is also stiffer than before, so it promises a little bit more driving fun. We'll see about that when we are able to drive this very car, and I hope you will tune into that then again soon. See you there, and also at other reviews here at Autogefühl. Team Jonas behind the camera and Thomas in front of the camera says goodbye for today. Please subscribe if you haven't done so far. See you next time.